Hey class, if you don't remember me, my name is Chris Obert, and today I'd like to talk to you about the study I did about online books and how universities interact with the online books. From my personal experience, I've always struggled at the beginning of the year going to the bookstore and finding my books, waiting in lines, and then you show up to class on the first day and you've got a different edition of the textbook you need than the one you bought in the bookstore, and maybe even the bookstore doesn't have your edition available. Also, textbooks, they're expensive. Most college students spend about $1,300 a year on textbooks. So today I'd like to talk to you about the issue of textbooks and what we can do to incorporate more online textbooks into colleges and how that might affect people's learning. There's three advantages to using online textbooks. There's academic advantages, there's economic advantages, and there's also a convenience factor that might help students in their learning a lot more. Academically, students say that 41% of them would only rather use a paper textbook than a online textbook. So there's a majority of students who would be willing to learn with an online textbook. They're fine reading off computer screens, and this generation of students is grown up around technology, and that leads them to they're more comfortable learning in that environment. Online textbooks can also provide different tools that a paper textbook, traditional textbook, may not be able to provide. Typically, in a paper textbook, the tools that you have available are your table of contents. You can highlight, you can fold your pages into bookmark, and all of these are provided in online textbooks as well. You can bookmark, you can highlight, but you also have extra tools in there like textbook providers they can put links in there to videos that might help you with your learning, maybe some demonstrations, maybe some explanations of topics. They can also allow you to use a search bar in your textbook. So imagine you're going through an assignment and you see a formula that you may need to look up in your book. Instead of going through your table of contents or your references and looking through all your pages, you can just type in ask for the formula that you need, and you can go get to that right away. So you can learn quicker, and the textbook is more of a reference tool than something you have to carry around. Also, academically, students can reference their textbook from anywhere. So imagine you get out of class and you want to go straight to the library and start studying, but you don't have your textbook with you. You're not lugging around all your books all day. From a computer, you can access any of your textbooks at any time as long as you have an internet connection. And most campuses are great with providing Wi-Fi to students. So the convenience factor of being able to study whenever can really help students academically. Economically, the College Board, they're an organization that surveys college students, surveys colleges. They say that students can save up to 60% on their textbooks every year if they buy online. And the great thing about buying online is, you can keep track of your books too. You can go to class on your first day. You can talk to your professor. You can ask, what edition do I need? And you're not going to have to wait in line. You can go online, won't have to search for the right edition, and you can just purchase it right there and save up to 60%. So say you're spending $1,000 a year on books, you could just cut that down to $400 a semester on books. So you can really save a lot of money doing that. By saving so much money off the textbook bill that students typically are burdened with, you can provide more opportunities to students who may not have the financial resources to purchase all of the textbooks they need. And some students, even myself, I'm guilty of it too. I'll not buy textbooks for some classes just to save some money so that I don't have a textbook that I'm never going to use. Whereas, if I'd be more willing to buy a cheaper textbook that is online for all my classes rather than skip out on buying some of the textbooks. 81% of students actually say that they have had issues with their professors changing the edition of the textbook on them, and that's startling because students will go in to a bookstore and they will buy a textbook for $300 and then show up to the first day for their professor to tell them, hey, sorry you took the wrapper off that, but that's the wrong textbook. Also, students aren't going to have to carry around their books anymore online. All you need is your laptop. You can use a tablet. You could even use a smartphone if you have an e-reader. So, students can really benefit from having online textbooks because they're only going to have one thing to carry to class every day, and that's their laptop and their notebook. Like that's a way more simple, way more convenient. You're not going to have to, at the beginning of the year, with all the stress of new classes and figuring out what assignments you need to get done the first week of class, you're not going to have to deal with waiting in lines at the bookstore or dealing with that. You can go straight online and find what you want. Most textbook companies actually provide their textbooks online. It's the exact same text, you just have more features. And that's where it can help students academically is having those reference tools to actually go online and learn the material. 83% of students report having their own personal laptops already. I know myself, I have a lot of online homework. Even at the classes that I take in class, I know this class is online, but my accounting class, all my homework is online. I have to have a personal laptop. Most students have to have a personal laptop. They have the tool to purchase the online and read off the online books and materials. So what they're going to use isn't necessarily a factor. So the conclusions of this generation of students is comfortable using technology. So academically, that may be a factor. They may be more apt to read their textbook if it's on their computer, lay in bed in the dark, and you can read off your computer screen. The textbooks online provide more tools. That search bar is a big thing. You can still highlight, you can do everything you normally do with a paper textbook, but you can use more tools that are really going to help your learning. Economically, it's going to be cheaper to use online textbooks. Save up to 60% on your textbook bill every semester. That's a beautiful thing. So students already own their laptops and they're easily accessible, the online books. So it's going to be cheaper, it's going to be better for learning, and it's going to be more convenient for students. So my conclusion after my study is colleges should continue to provide the opportunity to students to purchase online textbooks and make that okay for them to use online. Make that an option along with either to supplement a paper textbook or to just use the online textbook.